Hello, good evening and welcome along to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub, ahead of Leicester City's next fixture in the Carabao Cup, of course, hopefully on the road to Wembley. I'm Dan Bates and we've got the most youthful studio I think we've ever had. No Matt Elliott, no Jerry Taggart. We've got David Nugent, who is the senior pundit this evening, alongside Mark Albrighton. Fantastic to have you both along with us. How are you both doing?
I'm doing brilliant, yeah. Still in our 30s, so better than being 50 or like Matt Elliott is.
Exactly. Hopefully he's listening already.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll have a jibe back at you a little bit later on, won't he?
He'll get me back. He'll have something to say.
Great to have you back on the sofa again.
Yeah, all good. Trying to keep busy. Plenty of football to be watching and covering. So yeah, enjoying it.
Yeah. So you were down. Was it West Ham at the weekend?
Yes. Did the West Ham Chelsea game. So again, just good to get to football matches, and it was a decent game as well. It was a good one to go and watch. There was plenty going on.
Yeah, you're not far from Walsall's ground either, are you? But we've dragged you all the way here to King Power Stadium this evening, so we appreciate you coming along. Would have been easier on co-commentary tonight, wouldn't it?
It would, absolutely.
Did you say you drove past the coaches as well?
I drove past the fans on the way here. Yeah. So that speaks volumes.
Sure, they probably recognise you. Right, we've got plenty coming up here on Matchday Live as we build up to kick-off at the Vescott Stadium. We'll look back at the game with Everton at the weekend, of course. So nearly getting all 3 points. It was just a draw in the end. We'll hear from manager Steve Cooper as well. He assessed the game at full time. And also we'll take a closer look at Walsall, who've made a really good start to their League 2 campaign. They're sitting in the playoff places at the moment, really pushing for the automatic places. So it'll be interesting to see what they do team news-wise, which in fact we can go straight to now from a Leicester City point of view. As expected, probably pretty much wholesale changes, 10 of them in fact. Caleb Okoli, the only survivor from the Premier League game at the weekend. Danny Ward is in goal. Luke Thomas, Connor Cody, Okoli and Ricardo across the back four. Samare and Chowdhury in midfield with Decordova-Reid, Buenanotte and Abdul Fatawu in behind Odsonne Edouard, who makes his first start for the club. On the bench, it's Everson, Justin, Fass, El Khanous, Ayew, Skip, Golding, McAteer and Will Alves. From a Walsall point of view, this is how they line up. We think it'll be a 5-3-2 for the hosts this evening. It's Simpkin in goal, Weir, Williams and Okabu the back three, Gordon and Barrett the wing backs with Lakin, Sturk and Maher in midfield. Adoma, who is set to make his 700th career appearance this evening, is alongside Lowe up top. We'll speak a little bit about Albert Adoma later on, a former teammate of David Nugent's, of course. So big congratulations to him, 700 career appearances. Pretty impressive. A number of those will have been alongside you.
Yeah, not many. We were at Middlesbrough together the season. We got promoted back to the Premier League. You know, he's a big mainstay in the team that year, and provided a few assists for myself. So yeah, great player, great lad, and obviously 700 games, great milestone for him. I'm sure he'll get plenty more as well. Yeah.
Speaking of assists, we asked you if you thought Mark had given you any at Leicester, but you said you didn't think so.
I don't know. We only had the great escape together than we that season.
Yeah,
and we were both in and out the team. If I played, Mark would be on the bench, but if Mark came in, I'd be out the team. So is
that why you sat so far away from each other now? Didn't even shake hands when they came in.
Didn't even get one cross.
Right, on the game tonight and the teams, I guess, Mark, is an easy place to start. Caleb Okoli, the only player. You always kind of expect changes at this stage of the competition, don't you? You kind of understand why he's stayed in there.
Yeah, I think it kind of suits all parties, really. I think the lads that have played a lot this season already, it gives them a chance to sort of have a bit of a rest and recover. And the lads that haven't been playing, it gives them a chance to, one, get minutes and fitness in their legs, in their lungs, but it also gives them a chance to get used to just being back on a football pitch again, because sometimes when you're out of it for so long, you can you sort of lose that. I think it's called pitch geography. I think they call it now. So it's good for all parties, and obviously gives them a chance to also stake a claim for starting in the league as well.
exactly to stake the claims the one because it's not been the best start of the season. Steve Cooper's side's not won a game this season. Drew a couple of games. It's a chance for these players to come in and prove that they're good enough to to make a stake for the Premier League. And the likes of Ricardo, top player, wants to play week in week out. You got Edouard, coming up for his debut, full start for the club. In the cup. So these players will be looking to make a claim in this game, and hopefully, come weekend, they might be in that team against Arsenal.
It's a strong team, isn't it, Mark? Regardless, even making 10 changes, and even last season we saw that. Even in the Championship, that Leicester make that many changes, they're still incredibly strong. It's a great squad.
Yeah, and I think you look at all the changes, and every single one of them players out there has got something that he's playing for, whether it is for minutes, whether it is to stake a claim that some of them might be feeling a bit hard done by, that they've not played more minutes this season so far. So every single one of them has got a point to prove to, whether it be themselves or the manager. So it's good. Even people like Luke Thomas, who's getting a run out tonight, who's been out the fold for quite a while, he's spent a long time on loan. It's a great opportunity for someone like him to come in and get the Leicester kit back on and perform.
Mm. Yeah, you often see that, don't you, with these sorts of games, Nuge, that it's both an opportunity, like Mark says, for those players that haven't been in, that want to prove a point, but particularly if you've just been coming off the bench, if you can start and perform really well. Edouard's a good example today. Mm-hmm. If he scores, gets a couple, he can think, well, I want to start at Arsenal at the weekend.
Yeah, there's just loads of players in that team that could, think like that. Fatawu as well, start of the season, he's come back out, starts today to, try and stake a claim. There's players in this team that all deserve or they all think they should be playing in the first team, come Premier League on Saturday. So it's down to the players to show Steve Cooper that they're ready. So for me, this is a massive game for them. They can't just think, it's a League Cup game, we should go through because we're a better team. It doesn't work like that. Walsall are a good side, doing well in League Two, in the playoffs. It'll be a tough game, but the lads have got to turn up and perform and try and put a performance on.
Yeah, I guess one thing you look at the team as well, Mark, there is experience in there, isn't there? Bobby Deckard over Reed springs to mind, of course, Hamza Chowdhury in midfield. Odsonne Edouard will have played in a number of these games in this competition. They know it's not going to be a walkover, obviously.
Yeah, and I think obviously Connor at the back as well, who's got bags of experience, he'll make sure that the lads know that as well. That he'll make sure that in the dressing room before the game that nobody's going to get complacent. Even Danny Ward in goal as well. He's played enough games. He's been around long enough to know now that these games aren't as straightforward as what some might think. So there's plenty of people there, and I don't for 1 minute think that the manager will let that happen anyway. I think he'll make sure him and his staff that they'll be telling the players themselves that this is going to be a tough game. I think, like Nuge says, they've started really well in their respective league, and they're flying high, so they'll be full of confidence. I think the crowds are getting better at their stadium as well this season. So there'll be plenty of excitement around Walsall tonight. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a tough game. But if Leicester are on song, then they shouldn't have any problem.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of people that will think this is a banana skin as well. With Leicester not doing too well, Walsall pushing high in their league. It's a dangerous game. The lads who come in, this is again, we say it again, a chance to stake a claim, and they want to win to go through to the next round because that'll be their next chance of an opportunity of playing again as well.
Obviously, you've both been involved in games like this. When you do come up against lower league opposition, is there what is the attitude going into it? Because you don't want to be embarrassed, I guess, but also as favourites, that is a different pressure, isn't it, to what you'd expect in the Premier League?
Yeah, I don't think I speak personally, I don't think I've ever approached a game like this any different to any other game that I've played. Sometimes it gets difficult. One at Newport County that we had in, I think it was the FA Cup, springs to mind, and although we probably didn't play to the level that we should, we had the majority of the ball, the majority of the chances, but things just weren't going our way, and we conceded a couple of goals, ended up losing the game 2-1, and we come off the pitch and we get the critics rightly so as well, because we should be winning the game, but things just, whether it's the crowd, whether it's the officials, whoever it may be, things just seem to go against you in some of these games. So you've got to be prepared for that. You've got to be willing to deal with that and just get on with your game and perform.
Just wasn't good enough, mate. That was all.
It's the refs.
Yeah. No, I think attitude's massive in these games. You know, you can't go into these games just thinking that it's going to be a walkover, because they'll feed off that. They'll see that in the first 10 minutes if you're not on it. You know, so it's down to these players to show from the start that they're up for it, and they want to, you know, put in a good performance to get through to the next round.
Yeah. Do you see that you've obviously both been involved in teams that have come up against better teams as well. Straight away, do you see, oh, he doesn't want it necessarily like that, or do you think, oh, they're there for the taking maybe? Yeah,
you can usually tell them, if you start the game well and you're up against your defender and you're getting the better of them and they're not fancying it, you think you want the ball more. Like if I was here today and I was Edward playing into League 2 style, I'm thinking goals.
Yeah.
I'm playing into League 2 style. I'm a Premier League player. Yeah. I've got a chance to score goals here and, you know, stake my claim. That's what I'll be thinking.
All of that front four. I think they should all be feeling that. And I think, like you said, just don't give them anything to feed off. Try and like set the game early on. Set your stall out from minute one, and let them know that it's not going to be sort of all going their way tonight. Let them know that you're here for a job and to get that job done. As soon as you start like that and you let them know that early, then I think it gives them less to feed off, and the crowd sort of gradually quieten down, and you can get on with performing to the best of your ability.
You have to prove to them that you're in the Premier League for a reason, and they're in League 2 for a reason. You're better players because where you are in the league and what league you're in. So you have to show that on the pitch.
Before we look at the Everton highlights, Mark, I just want to pick you up. Obviously, you mentioned the front four there. I guess, arguably, each of those could knock on the manager's door this week, regardless of what happens tonight, and say, I'm good enough, I want to start against Arsenal at the weekend. So it's a real opportunity for them. And again, as we said right at the top, it shows the options available to Steve Cooper.
Yeah, I think it's obviously good that the options are there. But I think they can only go and knock on the door. I wouldn't tend to say that. That wouldn't be the advice I would give. The advice I would give is go out tonight and perform. Get yourself a goal, like Nuge says. Get yourself a couple of assists and knock on the door that way. That's how you want to be. You want to be getting in the team. If people in front of you aren't performing the way that the manager expects, then it's down to you to give him a bit of a problem.
Yeah, it's interesting. And again, you'll have been in that position where maybe you're not in the team and you have an opportunity. You come in, you score. It's put me in the team.
exactly that. You know, you can't, as Mark said, you can't go knock on the door if you're not playing well. You need to prove it on the pitch and show the manager that you can do it, and that's how you get into the team. You know, it's people see all this knocking on the door. I've never knocked on a manager's door and say, I've never done it. I couldn't do it.
Is it a thing though?
I'm sure some players do it, but for me, personally, I've never done it. I'd hate to do it, just in case he says something to me.
I don't think I have a backup question. Why not the team?
He says, "Oh, you're not playing well enough." Like, all right, see you later. Should have done go.
Got a cup of tea or anything?
Yeah, but I don't know. You just prove yourself on the pitch. Do it on the pitch and let your football do the talking.
Okay, right. Let's take a look back then at the game at the weekend here at King Power Stadium, of course, against Everton. Weather affected, it's fair to say, isn't it? And the game ended 1-1.
Neil, who's managed to squeeze between Ndidi and Winks, and now it's Njai on the left-hand side, up against Dekole. 2 in the middle, now 3 as Decore joins them. And he's managed to get the cross in, and a golden opportunity for Jesper Lundstrom on his first Everton start, 6 yards out. If he'd have caught it cleanly, that could have been in the net, but it just glanced off his foot and fell wide of the post, and Everton coming forward with real purpose. Leicester regroup. Everton have the ball with Njai on the far side. Njai joined in the summer from Marseille. Here he is again, Njai into the penalty area. Brilliant onto his right foot, in off the post, and Everton leads. Well, he's been busy. He won the free kick that Leicester dealt with, but when it came back his way, it was a 1-2, received it back just inside the penalty area. The quick feet to move it onto his right foot, and with the help of the post, he scored his first Premier League goal for Everton, and they lead after 12 minutes at King Power Stadium. To take the resulting corner, drilled in low across the byline to Ndidi, gets beyond his man, pulls one back, Akole! Should have scored, few yards out. Keeper in no man's land, and Akole with a glancing header that's gone over the bar after the set-piece move from Winks to Mavididi. Winks over the corner, left-hand side. The last one nearly led to a goal. This one delivered straight in, and Ndidi's header. There's a real scramble in the box, and it's touched home. I think it was Stephy Mavididi have got the final touch, the crucial touch that gives Leicester City an equaliser. They came close on the previous one. They strike from this one. Winks corner and Didi rising. Bedlam inside the 6-yard area. And Mavididi leading to King Power Stadium. Celebrations. 2 goals in 2 games. All square at King Power Stadium.
Well, again, it's a quality ball into the box from Harry Winks. He just floats it with just enough pace.
Well, there we go. 1-1 it finished at the weekend. Leicester were knocking on the door. Nude, you were here for us, weren't you? And watching it, you thought it was coming, wasn't it? I think that the winner, Everton had pretty much decided they were happy with the point, hadn't they? But they just couldn't find that goal, could they, to pick up the first one of the season?
Yeah, it was pretty much a game of 2 halves again. I think Everton dominated the first half, deservedly went into the break, and then just took another team talk from Steve Cooper to get the lads going again. They come out fighting in the second half. Didn't really start the second half really well, but once he got the goal, there was only one team that were going to go on to win it, and Everton, were happy for a point at 1-1. Leicester were pushing for that winner. Almost got it with the the block shot at the end. I think it was Bonanarte's shot was a block by Tarkowski towards the end. Could have won it, but yeah, it's just I want to see that from the off. I want to see them fight from the off. Go after teams from the start. Show us a game plan and go and execute it, straight from the off and try and put teams under pressure.
Yeah, I think that's been the story of the season so far. They've not really had a complete performance. They've played really well in parts of games, but then other parts of games has probably not been good enough. So I think one thing that we can take from it is how they respond to going a goal down. I think they've showed it a number of times this season now where they've shown that they've got the character to fight back. They don't just lay down and die and let and then concede another and another. It's we're fighting to get back into this game, and like you say, I think there's been a number of games as well this season where they've got that equaliser, and then they've been the more likely to go on and win the game, and probably the full-time whistles come too early. If we could just drag it out for a few more minutes.
Yeah, I think the Villa game you were here for us was a similar story, wasn't it? But and then even Tottenham, they had chances to win that game. I guess you don't want to be left wondering though, do you? At the end of the season, you think, if they'd have just got one there, got one there. Is that a case of slightly earlier going for it? I don't know what.
Yeah, there has to be spells in the game where you have to go forward, try and get back into the game. Otherwise, you're just going to lose every game, really, aren't you? It's just I want to see a start like a performance from the start where we got off the teams, score the first goal and try and hang on to it. Show that bit of determination and grit that you want as a team to show that you've got what it takes to keep hold of the lead. We've seen it in spells like Tottenham second half, Everton second half, Crystal Palace first half. They've got it in them to do it. It's just one way or another, we're kind of chasing games or trying to keep hold of leads. So it's been tough so far, but we've seen promising signs in each game where the lads can do it. We just need to see it more frequently in the game.
Yeah, I think, like Nuge says, it's there in spells. I think we've got to be realistic as well to understand newly promoted side, and we're not going to dominate from start to finish. We are going to come up against it where the opposition is going to have spells, but it would just be nice to not be chasing the game, like you say, and trying to get back into it. I think the Crystal Palace one, obviously, it didn't end well, but I felt a lot more satisfied. Once it had settled down, I felt a lot more satisfied with the performance and the way we started the game, the chances that we created. Albeit for a penalty at the end, we come away with 3 points there, and nobody says anything, and all of a sudden it's a good performance, good result. But I think it's just amounting to climbing in the Premier League. Once you do go a goal down, to then score 2 goals against someone is a tough ask.
People see Leicester as an established Premier League club, so it's like, why are they not playing like this? Why are they not doing this? People forget that we've just been promoted from the Championship. Because we've been so established in previous years, people just think Leicester are just going to, come back into the Premier League and be all right, be that mid-table, fighting for Europe again. But it's proven that all the teams that come up from the Championship, they always struggle in that first season. We look at Southampton now, Everton again struggling. Teams are down there for a reason. So it's going to be a tough season no matter what. Every game's solid, really hard in the Premier League. You can't just turn up every week and think you're going to win a game.
Stephy Mavididi, Mark, last couple of games he's looked really sharp. You could probably argue, well, he was definitely the best player on the pitch, I think, on Saturday,
Second
wasn't he?
half, yeah.
Nuge. And Crystal Palace, he got that goal as well. If he has a season like he started it, that could be so key, couldn't it?
Yeah, I love watching Steffi when he's positive, when he gets the ball, and his first thought is to take a player on and to get to the byline, to get a cross in, to get a shot off. That's when he's at his best, when he's positive, when he's full of confidence, and the goals that he's scoring, obviously, it's a scrappy goal, but he'll be happy with it still. I think the goal against Crystal Palace, a good goal. So these things will be giving him confidence. So if he can keep up this goal scoring form and this form that he's in, I think he'll go from strength to strength this season.
Yeah, I thought second half against Everton, every time he got the ball, he was giving James Garner nightmares down the left-hand side. Every time he got on the ball, he was, doing the step overs, cutting inside, taking him down the byline, getting crosses into the box. As you want it, as for your winger, he was really positive that second half, and he just needs to be more consistent in that type. Let him, just leave him 1v1 with the fullback, let him do his thing. 9 times out of 10, he'll get past him. Come inside or get across into the box. So just let him be more positive. Get in the box, score, he goes as he has. Right place, right time. Just lurking about in the 18-yard box. Even for the corner, just drops him. Right place, right time.
Almost
scuffs it
for a Coley as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Scuffs it and it goes in the back of the net. So he's got the goals in him. We just need to see it more on a consistent basis.
Speaking of knocking on the manager's door or proving it on the pitch, that's what he did against Villa, wasn't it? He came on, he'd not started, I don't think, in the Premier League, had he? Came on against Villa, looked really, really sharp that day as Leicester were chasing the game. Then he's put in at Palace and he scores. And then he keeps his place, he scores again.
Yeah, well, I think like the lads that are coming in tonight, they've got to take confidence from that. That if you perform in the opportunities that you get, the manager will give you a chance. And like you say, he's come on in games where he's done really well towards the start of the season, and then he's got his chance now to start games, and he's performing well. And he'd be one that I would obviously at the minute keeping the team and make sure that he continues this form that he's in, and because he's a big threat for us.
You were in the dressing room obviously with him last season in the Championship. What does he need? Is he an arm around the shoulder type player? Will the manager be going to him, I'm really, really impressed with what you've got, give me more, or will he say, I want more from you?
Yeah, he's a confident individual. Like he backs his ability. He knows his strengths. He knows his weaknesses. He's an honest lad. I think for him to have a good relationship with the manager, I think it's important. I think the manager will give him that as well. I don't know Steve Cooper personally, but he seems the type to have good relationships with his players, and I think that would be good for Steffi. Because he probably does need that arm around the shoulder every now and again. I think majority of players do these days. I think the days of sort of somebody reacting well from a good telling off is gone. So I do think players are more sort of suited to the arm around the shoulder, and I think he's definitely an example of that.
I like the big kick up the backside. I did, because when I'm in the team and I've played like 10, 15 games, and you're going to start, sometimes you just need a little kick up the backside just to get you going again. I think Nigel Pearson did to me one season. I think I just had the baby. I think I played Leeds at home, drew 0-0, called me in the office the next day, said I need more from you. And then from then on, I kicked on a bit. So sometimes you need that little arm around the shoulder, sometimes you need the kick up the backside. Every play is different. So for me, it was just a kick up the backside.
Is that what we need to give you in there?
To bring
a better performance in the studio. Let's hear from Steve Cooper then. The Leicester City manager spoke after that draw with Everton about his frustration in not getting all 3 points.
Steve, what are your thoughts, your emotions? What was a really competitive game?
We didn't play well in the first half. We've got to own up to that. Nowhere near the level that we need to be in any Premier League game. Deservedly losing the game, and we didn't move the ball quick enough. We didn't play forward quick enough. When we did play forward, we didn't change the intensity again and take risks and become an attacking threat. And then without the ball, we lost too many duels. We lost too many races. We were too open. Made some poor decisions. Would force players into an area, let them come out, and the result was going the way the game was was panning out. So half time came at a good time. Obviously the weather as well, but that was the same for both teams. And yeah, we had to make it very clear that things needed to change if we wanted to get anything out of the game, and they certainly did in terms of commitment and the non-negotiables of competing. Yeah, we obviously got a lot more territory, and we were in around Everton's final third, or our final third, without creating too many chances. But I felt like, you know, one would come, and we again set pieces. Yes, they had a couple of counter attacks and things like that. So we managed to get the equaliser, and then I thought if anyone was going to win, it would be us. We didn't manage the initial moments after equalising, but you know, we were pushing again for a winner while trying not to get done on counter attack. So yeah, game that should have been better. Let's not hide away from that. But as it played, could have been worse, you know, and you know, we deserve no more than a point. I feel like we should have got a point after the second half, but yeah, we need to do better than the first half for sure.
Feels like in each game you've taken some positives. Feels like it's building towards that first win.
I didn't like the first half. I'm sorry to keep going on about it. I don't think we've had that before this year, because we've always need to show desire, and we need to show competing and things like that. So I didn't like that, you know, and I need to say that, and I keep repeating it. But you know, the players do deserve credit, and you can go under when you play poorly, and maybe half time is as it is, and some teams can go and hide, and the game can go even worse. To be fair to the guys, they really got together and stood up to the challenge and did better in the game. Not brilliant, but did a lot better. So yeah, they deserve a bit of credit for that. But you know, we're not, nobody's walking out of here thinking that's at the level, because it's not. But I do like how we stuck together second half, and we got something out of the game. And in a game when you play poorly, you can easily lose. Yeah, it's a pity that, you know, there's other games like I'm still disappointed we didn't win at Palace, and on the other games before we could have got something more than what we got. So today we got what we deserved. In other games I thought we could have done a bit, could have been, you know, a bit more fortunate with getting results. But that's how it is, and we have to get on with it.
That was Steve Cooper there, speaking after the draw with Everton at the weekend. He's made 10 changes tonight to the side that it will face Walsall. Caleb Okoli being the only player that remains in the team from that game at the weekend. Notably, Odsonne Edouard is in for his first Leicester City start. Ricardo, of course, starting as well and captaining the side tonight as well. A number of people, I'm sure, will be pleased with that. One thing you get from Steve Cooper, Nuge, is honesty, isn't it? Every time he speaks honestly and openly, and clearly he wasn't happy with the first half. He said it, we can say it wasn't great in the first half.
We said it at half time in the studio, didn't we? Says the first half wasn't good enough, the lads didn't seem at it. But you got to think, like, where does that come from? You can't see the manager going out there and saying, "Oh, come do this, do that." I think it comes from the players within, the way they go out there, like attitude we were talking about earlier. The attitude has to be better on the pitch. You know, playing at home against a struggling Everton team who are down the bottom of the league, conceding a lot of goals. I think the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you've got to go after them, put them under pressure, because they were massively under pressure, Everton, that game, and you know, Leicester let them off the hook by letting them score first, and you know, let them get into the game. And it took an almighty effort in the second half to Leicester to get back into the game, to get the equaliser and then try and win it. But yeah, as again, the players and the manager both have to do better.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting what he said about not managing the moments after they got the equaliser well. I think it's always difficult. You get that equaliser and you think, right, now let's go and get a winner quick. Like, even though there's still time left, and that's when you get done on the counter attack. You need to make sure you're solid defensively as well as trying to go for that. But I think, like you've touched on there, I think I do enjoy listening to him speak. I think the honesty is there, and like obviously he's not trying to cover anything up. He knows it weren't good enough first half. He was honest about that, but he recognised that the second half was an improvement.
I'm not making excuses by any means. The weather was horrendous, wasn't it? Did that play any part in the performance?
The pitch looked unbelievable. It held the water up perfect, you know, so it wasn't like affecting the roll on the ball or the bounce. You're just making, we've all played in a bit of rain, but it was torrential, the thunder and lightning as well. But we've all played in a game where it's, you know, teeming down with rain, and you soak and wet, your kit's, you know, really heavy, but you just get on with it. It's part and parcel of football, the weather. And you can't just come off because it's raining. You know, there was a delay at half time because of the thunder and the lightning. That could have played a part in, you know, Everton wouldn't want that. They wouldn't have wanted to get straight back out, wouldn't they, Everton, you know, being on top of the game. That could have helped Leicester a little bit, that little delay. Which second half, you know, performance proved it, you know, getting back into the game.
Maybe, yeah. And you do hear the frustration that he clearly has, though, Steve Cooper, because he knows there was a win to be had out there. I don't necessarily mean just in the second half, but clearly just from the first whistle, and then to not get that performance in the first half he wanted. That's why he's probably so angry. He's clearly angry, wasn't he, at full time?
Yeah, I think you're playing against an Everton team that low on confidence, not playing well, just off the back of conceding from two goals down. 2 goals up, and I think you look at that at home, you think, right, this is a great opportunity now to go and start well, to really get on the front foot and to finish this game off and get the first win, and that just didn't happen in the first half, and when you start slow, you get punished at this level, and even though they're low on confidence, they've still got top quality players that can hurt you at any moment. So yeah, I think you have to start well. You have to set your stall out early, like we've said about tonight. It's massively important.
Yeah, and I guess when it's not been the start of the season he will have wanted, as you've rightly said, that's when maybe a cup competition is a good distraction.
Yeah, you gain confidence. You know, if you can get a win. I know it's not points on the board, but it's you know, your name in the next in the next round of the cup.
Yeah.
You know, it's against a League Two side, which potentially we should be beaten. You know, we've got the players out there who should be performing and getting a result, and that can only bring confidence to the team and to the players who are playing. Because, as I said before, if we go and win this 3-4-0, then players will be staking, a claim to play against Arsenal on Saturday, because it's going to be a tough game.
Let's go to the Bescott Stadium because Matt Elliott, our co-commentator this evening, is in position. Matt, good evening to you. How is it over at Walsall?
Evening, Daniel. Evening, gents.
Good evening.
Yes. Somewhat typically drizzly and grey over here, but that's to be expected, I suppose, with the recent weather. There's been a heavy downfall earlier on. Pitch is pretty sodden and heavy and wet. Not too dissimilar to the weekend, I think. You know, I heard you speaking about the conditions last Saturday, but yeah, the crowd is trickling in at the moment. A bit like a few puddles that are making their way through, but yeah, no, apart from that, it's wonderful, Batesy. I've really dressed it up nicely for you, haven't I? Really looking forward to it. But no, cramped conditions here, as you can probably see. You see my beautiful blue eyes there, Batesy?
Not yet,
mate.
No. Oh, that's a result for you, isn't it? That's good. So, yeah, no, it's all pretty cosy in the media area, but most importantly, things are occurring on the pitch. The lads are getting warmed up. Strong team, isn't it, Dan? You know, not bad for 10 changes, is it? Gone are the days, even with not so much Mark, but certainly in Nuge's time and my time, you know, you had a couple of YTS in the team. Never mind on the bench, and I think even the Macca the kit man got stripped on a couple of occasions, but still probably has tonight. Dying for a game, but yeah, listen, you've got players on the bench tonight that we're disappointed they didn't play Saturday. That's how big and deep the squad is. So, you know, you've got to expect Leicester to perform tonight, haven't you?
Yeah, your camera's not working, unfortunately, Matt, so we won't be able to see you, but we can still chat to you.
That's a bonus for us all.
Yeah, well, absolutely. That is for sure. We were seeing that the Walsall players warming up just a moment ago. Obviously, big evening for them. They've started their campaign really well, haven't they? They'll be fancying themselves for an upset tonight quietly, won't they?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they'll be mildly disappointed when they see the starting lineup, although I think of Leicester, I mean, but I suppose they'll have realised that before. You know, again, you know, mentioned about the strength of depth of the squad, but they themselves, yeah, had a good start to the season. Haven't they, right up there in the top area, playing it well, unbeaten at home. Only a handful of changes, 3, I believe, from the weekend. They're going to be full of confidence, aren't they? And pretty strong on the back of it. They're obviously trying to make a fist of this competition, and which is all the better for us, because with spectators watching it. You know, you want a good game to watch, and all the indications are that that's going to be the case.
Yeah, a competition, Matt. We won't delve too much into it, but one that you have rich history in, of course. We'll speak to Mark as well about winning silverware at Wembley in just a little bit. So, you know, you want to then do well in these early rounds, don't you? It may seem so far away, February, but actually it isn't. And if you can win in these early rounds, maybe get another fortunate draw, then you never know what might happen.
Yeah, no, I've heard various people speak recently about the importance or lack of this competition, and it can be deemed in different ways, can't it? With, you know, perhaps some people could see it as an opportunity, a big opportunity for silverware because of those the reasons that people changed the lineup for, and in truth, they don't take it as seriously as the FA Cup until the latter stages, and then it becomes as important as anything else, doesn't it? But other teams got other priorities. There's an opportunity, you'd imagine, for a team like Leicester, you know, who haven't got Europe to consider. Yes, they've got a massive battle on their hands, but when the time comes, you know, domestically in the league, but when the time comes for this competition, the players that are on show tonight have got to be an absolute maximum, given their all, haven't they, for their own personal reasons and the clubs, and that could prove to be a good mix.
Final question, Matt. You know what it's going to be. Nuge is bottled asking you it. I was trying to give him the eyes, but he refused. What's the food on offer tonight?
Well, Nuge made the right decision because it was a non-entity. As in zero, nothing, zilch, yeah. I walked through the media section, got my I can't remember what the word is. I nearly said itinerary, yeah. Accreditation, that's the one. Cheers, Nuge. You're making a contribution somehow. But and I was waiting to walk into this, you know, spectacular canteen area, and I ended up with some scruffy old tunnel. Before I knew it, I was sat in my press seat. So not happy, but good job. I bet you'll know it, Mark. I've been looking after quick trivia, Batesy, for you. Sorry, rambling on. I've been looking after some Canadians from Calgary today, as you do. 2 minibus loads of us have been spending a bit of time in Star City, Mark. You'll be.
There.
Yeah, you'll know that well. Yeah, we stayed in a huddle, mate. We stayed in a huddle.
Be careful.
And but then I came in and I checked with the steward on the car park, and I've got 2 bus loads. And I said, "Look, I've got a car park pass. My name's down Leicester Media." She says, "Okay," has a little look through. She says, "We've only got one. It's for Matt Elliott." I said, No. I'm Matt, and the bloke in the other bus is called Elliott." So we've got us both in. We've got, what we got? 18. We've got 36 of us in, when it should have just been me. Not bad work.
Yeah, well done, Matt. Well, thank you very much. We'll hear you on co-commentary duty for us this evening. Around about 20 minutes to go now until kick-off away at Walsall, of course. Right, away at Walsall, Nuge. There's a reason I'm bringing it up, because we've had a look to see if we could see any goals that you'd scored, and there weren't any to speak of until you said in a pre-season game.
They all count. Well, you don't count them on
scored
your
in a
list.
pre-season game away at Walsall, and typical of you. That last season, Mark, you won't have known, obviously, when you were involved. Nuge every week it seemed to score against championship opponents, so we always showed a goal when we see it.
Oh, look at that.
Special, innit?
I'll give you that.
You said I didn't mean it.
No, I did not. That wasn't me.
Someone said, was it Liz? Was it Liz? Yeah, Liz on the other side. Yeah, it just rolled across nicely for me. I think Chris Wood showing a lot of pace there and behind, gets tackled, and it just rolls in my path, and you just...
I've seen him do it loads of time in training.
All the time,
he did
mate,
mean it.
all the time. But yeah, pre-season friendly. It's a good goal though for a pre-season friendly, isn't it?
It is. It's a shame it was only.
I wish it was at Old Trafford or somewhere like that.
It deserved more than a pre-season friendly, didn't it? We did slow the footage right down at the beginning, Mark. You can just see you on the left wing making a long busting run.
Yeah, just couldn't keep up with Woody and Nuge. Unfortunately, I think even Kingy ran past me at one point.
Literally last season though, where every single Matchday Live that we had Nuge on, he seemed to score. I think he picked the games that he was available for.
It's my division, isn't it? Championship's my division.
Scored against those teams. I spoke briefly there to Matt about he has great history in this competition, scoring twice in the final, of course, and winning it. You've lifted multiple silverware at Wembley itself, FA Cup, and then the Community Shield. You know what it's like to go all the way and to win it. And in these early rounds, like I said, it seems quite far away, but actually, if you can get in and get through, hopefully they will do tonight. You never know what's around the corner.
Yeah, I think these early rounds are just as important as the latter stages. I think when we had Brendan Rodgers, he was very keen to tell you before these games, right? This is where the journey starts. I know they've been through the round previous, but that would have been where the journey starts. If you're going to go all the way, that's where it all begins. And if you don't win them games, you don't get to get all the way to Wembley and be able to lift these trophies. So they're massive. For all kinds of reasons, these games are big games, like we've already touched on. But it's the start of a cup competition that you go in a cup competition to win it. I don't care what anybody says. If you're not going in to win it, there's what you're doing here.
Yeah, and that's what you use your squad for, and that's what it is tonight.
Exactly, yeah. It's a chance, to get through to the next round. I know these players are coming in to try and make an impact, but it's a chance for these players to come in and get through to the next round as well, because that's probably might be their next opportunity of playing a game. As you said, but the early rounds are massive. You might make changes, but you still want to get through. You don't want to go into a competition and try not to win it. You're going into it every single game. You're making changes to give the squad rotation a chance to come in and play a game, get some minutes behind their legs and get match fit and try and stake a claim. And this is a chance for these, 10 players that have been changed to come in and make that impact.
Yep, let's take a closer look quickly then at tonight's opposition. George Bennett from the Express and Star tells us everything we need to know about the host tonight.
It's a massive game, under the lights at Bescott, where Walsall have been in fantastic form this season against Premier League opposition. I know they met in the FA Cup a couple of seasons back when Michael Flynn was manager. But an occasion like this is always going to be big for a club like Walsall. The league is a bread and butter, but in the cup games on nights like this is what creates memories. So, Matt Sadler's going to be wanting to find the balance with a strong start in the league. In terms of his selection, but they're going to want to go and make a really good account of themselves, and in Walsall's mind, try and pull off an upset. But yeah, it's a great opportunity, and I do see it as kind of a free hit. But Walsall will be wanting to make a good account of themselves, and like you say, continue the momentum which with the league form and also the runs in the cup so far. It seemed to just kind of really galvanise the club at the moment, both the squad and the management staff, but also the fan base.
Thanks to George Bennett there from the Express and Star for that. Interesting one for them, and we just heard George there talking about how it's kind of a no-lose situation, isn't it, really? Probably at any time a lower league team plays a Premier League team in a cup and things are going well for them in the league, they'll want to continue that momentum. It's not a bad distraction now, probably a good distraction for them.
Yeah, well, they're not expected to go and win the League Cup, are they? This is like a free hit for them. As you said, they've done well against Premier League clubs in previous years, so it's another chance for these players to showcase their talents on the pitch. The League Two side playing against the Premier League side, they have nothing to lose whatsoever.
It was a tight game as well last season, Leicester. Mark, you were on the bench, weren't you, for the trip to the Bescott in the FA Cup that time? It took a quite fortunate Kelechi Iheanacho strike deflected from the edge of the box to win that 1-0, and it sums up that these games are never easy.
No, and again, that was a game with few chances. There weren't a great deal of chances. It was always going to come from a little bit of luck or a little bit of magic from somewhere that was going to win that game. Fortunately, it came through Kelechi and we managed to win. But I look at Walsall this year and they've just beat Birmingham in the EFL Trophy, and so they've just beat somebody from a higher division. So they'll be looking at this now, thinking, right, we can do it again. Why not?
Seeing the players warming up there at the Bescott in front of the travelling Leicester supporters, Leicester always travel well, don't they, supporters-wise? Obviously, the fans will be there and they'll be wanting to see Leicester go through to the next round so they can maybe, hopefully, have a semi-final to go to, home and away, have a final to go to at Wembley as well.
Yeah, that's what the fans dream of. They want to go and see their teams win silverware. Obviously they've had a lot of, obviously winning the FA Cup when Mark was there, the Premier League, Community Shield. They've had it all in previous years, and they just want to trip out. Every club wants to trip out to Wembley, don't they? The fans want to walk up them steps to Wembley and watch the team, try and win a trophy, and that's every season. You get a chance to try and do that every single season. The players do, to make the fans proud and go out there and put a show on it and try and get as far as you can and try and give the fans what they want.
Let's get a reminder then of tonight's team news. We are building up now. Just under 15 minutes to go until kick-off at the Bescott Stadium with Danny Ward in goal from a Leicester point of view. Luke Thomas, Connor Cody, Caleb Okoli. He's the only player that started on Saturday that starts this evening. And Ricardo make up the back four. Samare and Chowdhury in midfield with Decordova-Reid, Buenanotte and Abdul Fatawu in behind Odson Edouard, who makes his first start for the club. From a Walsall point of view, they have Simkin in goal, Weir, Williams and Okabu in across the back three, with Gordon and Barrett as the wing backs, Lakin, Sturck and Maher in midfield. Albert Adoma, Nuja's former teammate, and Lowe make up the two strikers there. Adoma, as I said at the very start, making his 700th career appearance this evening against Leicester. Yes, we're a couple of minutes to go until we hand over to the commentary team, and so really we're reiterating what we've already said, Mark, which is they've got to be careful tonight, as you always do in these types of games, but a win sends you into the next round. By that point, you never know what can happen. Yeah,
I think your first thought has got to be, right, we go out and be professional. We do everything right. We do the basics well. We keep possession of the ball. We manage the game. We nullify the crowd. We don't give them anything to feed off, like we said earlier. And then you build from there. You build into the game and then go on in the second half. And hopefully it becomes more comfortable then, and you can start sort of playing with a bit more freedom. And that's the ideal scenario. But like you say, ultimately as well, you have to be careful. Like Nuj said earlier, it's a potential banana skin with the form that they're in and the form that we've started with the start of the season. So the possibility is there, but like I say, if everybody performs professionally and does the basics well, we should be okay.
Yeah, go out there with the right attitude, right application, play to your best, and with that starting 11, should go out there and win the game comfortably. But as you said, Walsall doing well in respectively League and League Two, doing really well. It's going to be a tough game, but as I said, the quality on the pitch for Leicester should get through to the next round.
Yep. Final point: who do you see impressing the most in the Leicester shirt today?
I'm sticking to my strikers, and I'm going to say Edouard. Because it's his first start, against the League Two side. There's a chance to get goals, and if he does, then he has a possible chance of breaking into the team on come Saturday.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you very much, Nuj. Cheers, Mark. We'll hear from you both again at half-time, of course, and at full-time, where hopefully we'll be talking about Leicester City into the hat for the next round of the Carabao Cup. Coming up next, we have full match commentary for you. Matt Elliott, as we've already heard, is at the Bescott for us for this Carabao Cup game. Walsall against Leicester City. Live commentary coming up next.
Signal that Leicester are straight back up to the Premier League.
Everyone has a dream destination that they wish to visit in their lifetime, where you can cross off your travel bucket list and becomes your unforgettable experience. Let your never-ending stories in Thailand inspire the world.
Good evening and welcome to the Poundland Bescott Stadium for Carabao Cup action on this Tuesday night. Leicester City at Walsall as they look to make it into round 4 of this competition. Tranmere seen off a couple of weeks ago, and now it is League 2 opposition in Walsall, who are flying high, have had an excellent start to the season and will be looking to cause a major upset. The floodlights are on, the mascots are out there waving their flags, ready to greet the two teams here, and shortly they will walk out of the tight tunnel below us and into a very still night. It's been very wet, as we know, in this part of the world,